Hello, this is Eric of Not BIOS, and today I bring you the Sennheiser MKE 600 shotgun microphone. The length is 256 millimeters and the weight is 128 grams. So this particular one comes with a microphone, shock mount, and a connector that connects from its XLR to 3.5 millimeter aux or auxiliary jack. And also has a pouch and a wind muff. So we gotta check that out here. So let's open this up. So this particular pamphlet has all our images and how to do things and what is involved. That's the basics. So the one thing we do have is our battery on-off level. The light color will indicate the battery and how much life is left. So we got a full battery. It says up to 150 hours. That's a long time for battery life. So the one thing we have is a nice little pouch for holding your microphone. Just a soft, kind of soft case. XLR to 3.5 millimeter aux jack. And this is stereo, has both little lines on it. And from here, we also have our shock mount. So if you look here, give it a little squish, you can see the shock mount in action. Then we have our wind muff, our wind muffler. So this one will work okay for inside and get rid of those plosives. And then we have our nice large shotgun mic. I just spin this up or off, and then I can place a battery. I think I have one laying around. I indeed do. So now the battery's in, and now I put it right back together. Nice simple design, I like that. And how about our wind muff? Toss her on. This surprisingly looks like the same thing as on the Rode NTG. I'll be darned. So if you have one for the Rode NTG or you need one, just order the one for the Rode. One for the Rode. And this one is great for using outside in wind. Well, this one here is not so great, but it mostly gets rid of those plosives. And that's kind of important, especially for inside recording. And for most of this video, I'm gonna be using this Rycote shock mount because you can see here, this little arm makes it really easy to tilt it. Well, of course, the included one does not have a tilt just like that. And it keeps separation from my camera, which I need another adapter. So it's quite a bit of an extra cost if you're gonna go that route. And as for the arms, these are just something I can mount right against my wall in my studio. Very useful for a studio type setup. Much easier and more compact option than using a silly tripod. But yeah, so right now you're actually listening to the Sennheiser microphone powered by 48 volts, and there's our light. Now what I want to do is put that shock mount on right here, and it's very tight, so you're going to have to be very mindful of trying to get it on and use a bit of force to slide it on. So now it's all basically set up, but what I want to do is try connecting this. How does it go in? Nice, and it holds in there nice and tight, so you got the little tab to pull it off. So nice fit to this. This wire itself is pretty darn thin, but this should work. This is the one from Sennheiser itself. In the case of saying using a wind muff with a fur for outside, I kept on having the problem that the fur itself would show up in the camera. You can see the wind muff pretty clearly. Let's zoom in on the camera and see how much we can still see. Yeah, the wind muff is almost blocking the lens in this particular camera. This is Sony ZV-1. And now you can see why I got the Rycote shock mount to give more separation, or you can use that little other mount right here to give more separation. So with this adapter, I can now thread it onto that shock mount and have a camera hot shoe. And that also gives me more separation as well from the camera lens. So it's pretty cool. This itself has a tilt as well. Bonus. And thread it directly without getting an adapter. Spin this on, thread it on, and use simply the shock mount that's included with this particular microphone. And all of a sudden you can actually tilt it out and whatnot. You just use the Allen key to loosen it and set it where you want. So I'm going to turn on the low cuts and see if the wind noise is any different. Now low cut is on. Is there any difference in wind? I have no clue. And if I go back to this foam, the wind died down a bit since I actually changed the muff. So it's not going to give you quite a fair comparison. But either way, that's the fur muff now. I finally got the proper wind muff for this particular microphone. Now let's try that out, and I grab that right now. So I now have the proper wind muff for the Sennheiser, which is right here. This is the Rode NTG one. They're both quite similar, except the Sennheiser one seems to be softer, a little bit thinner, and it's shedding like crazy, which is nuts. Okay, let's put this on once I actually blow into this. The fur one for the Sennheiser. Now let's blow on this. Wow, that definitely reduced sound. And of course, generally you don't want to use a wind muff like this if you are inside, but outside, this would be a great one to use for this particular microphone. I'm going to really aggressively blow on this right now. And now let's do that aggressive blow on this foam muff. Whoa, that definitely clipped. Now let's get the Rode NTG wind muff and see if there's a difference. Rode NTG wind muff. Now let's do an aggressive blow. So right now we might hear that equipment working. I'm not sure if low cut will affect or not. Let's try it. Low cut is on. Let's face towards the sound. Low cut is off. So now I'm going to do a quick line of words and put low cut on and low cut off. Right now low cut should be off. The fox with socks jumped into the box. The fox with socks jumped into the box. His fur shone like the sun. His fur shone like the sun. The idea of a low cut filter, of course, is that low end rumble, and my voice I don't think is deep enough to be low end rumble. Deep enough to be low end rumble. And now I'm going to test the low cut filter on and test it off as well. And the audio you're hearing right now is from the PC itself to get the clearest audio possible. Right now, the low cut filter is off. Now listen to the silence. Okay, now I'm going to turn the low cut filter to on. Now the low cut filter is on, and now listen to the silence. I'll play back here a bit of a track, what I did outside. This was filming using my mic on my camera in an industrial area. If the path ahead is crowded and looks unsafe, find a different way through. There's no need to rush into danger. And one thing I didn't mention, right now you're listening to the MKE 600 connected to my Foresight Scarlett Gen 3 2i2. And it's connected through its XLR to the unit, and out is line out to the camera. So this is what you're hearing right now. Are you a content creator looking to up your game? Check out AE Juice. In fact, I use the effects from AE Juice for my own videos. And a lot of my thumbnails have their emojis because, hey, it works and not overly expensive. Sometimes they have sales and they have the I want it all bundle, so make sure it's compatible with your editing software before purchasing. Or are you looking for more music and sound effects beyond what AE Juice sells and you want a lifetime subscription? Check out Audio. Links in the description below. And in fact, that's what I also use, is Audio for my music and sound effects. And my computer, of course, is on, but we should have fairly silent noise floor now. And one thing that's really easy to do, which I did a couple times even when trying to record this, is leaving that silly battery power on while connected to phantom power. Didn't cause any issues, no damage or anything like that. I want you to listen to the silence, but this time I'll point to the camera when to turn your volume down. Just make sure your audio in your device is nice and silent. They're not getting a bunch of hiss, or else it's not going to help you listen to how silent the noise floor is on this particular mic. Now, listen to the silence. Now I'm using my Force-Right Scarlett 2i2 Gen 3. You'll notice my room looks a little bit different, but this is kind of in the future from the rest of the video here. Because I noticed a bit of hiss in my audio originally, because this cable doesn't seem to be conducive to good audio, not even to PC, when I actually have silence. Weird. Anyways, it's connected to line out to my camera, mic in, and my camera volume is set 8 out of 30 volume. Now let's listen to the silence. Right now there's a bit of rain dripping outside, so I don't know if we could hear that on the mic itself. But yeah, now let's go to PC audio. So right now you're listening to the PC audio connected to my Scarlett USB to PC. And how am I coming through? Now let's listen to the silence. Mind you, if my Scarlett was set too high and I'd be hitting orange or red, I could be clipping. And so I have to set it to proper volumes. And then I got to set the camera also to proper volumes, and the headphone out, which for the line out, that is, the monitor line out, to the proper volume again. So keep in mind, the more interfaces you have, the more complicated things can get, especially if you don't have them set correctly. Now let's continue on. I'm going to do some other tests, including the wind muffler on and the wind muffler off without trying to breathe into it, just to see if there's any difference in tone. So I'm going to take this off. Testing 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. The fox with socks jumped into the box. His fur shone like the sun. When the fox runs, he runs down, down, down. Down, down, down the darkish hole. The fox with socks jumped into the box. His fur shone like the sun. When the fox runs, he runs down, down, down. Down, down, down the darkish hole. So I'm talking about directional audio here. So what do I mean? So if I speak right down here, I'm not going to be the same volume. And if I speak right behind the mic, I'm not going to be the same volume. So we can see that's very directional from the front and very less directional from the back end. From the back end versus the front end. Do we see the difference in size here? Yeah, Rode NTG, small little thing. And the Sennheiser, a long microphone. And of course, we want the foam, so don't do plosives. Peter Piper picked a pepper. Ooh, cheese. Okay, this, when it plosives, it's going to exceed the capsule very easy. Ooh, wow. Okay, if I want to get rid of the plosives and do the pepper. But now to test out shock mounts. So if I test out this shock mount, let's hit the pipe. Maybe you should actually lower this a bit so we can see what I'm doing. Now we have nice long pipe where we can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to hit here. So let's make it a little tap less. Now I'm going to tap the microphone. Normally you don't want to be tapping the microphone, but when you're actually tapping the shock mount area, big difference. Just look at my mic levels. I can So this way I have it just below the camera view, angled as such that it's actually, I'm speaking a bit towards it. So this way I look at the camera and I have it just a little bit down facing towards me. And this gives me the sound that you're hearing right now. How is this for audio? And this is right now connected through the line out to the microphone. That's how I like to always do it. This way I don't have to edit my audio after the fact. And if I do, I have a program to split the audio. I'm not the best singer, but here's a quick test of me just doing a quick random song. Watch you go, oh, the way it goes. I don't know what you want from me, but I have nothing to give to you. Now I'm going to do a quick distance test from the microphone, starting at 3 feet away, and then going about 1 foot away, and then inches away from the microphone. The volume is not going to be adjusted, so you're going to hear the exact difference in volume levels from distance away from the microphone itself. Here's me speaking about 3 feet away from the microphone. Here's me speaking about 1 foot away from the microphone. Here's me speaking about 3 inches away from the microphone. How am I coming through? However, what's the advantage of having XLR, especially if you're going a long distance? XLR is not going to get what you call EMI in the line. So if I record directly to PC, it's going to be better. Or if I have XLR on my camera, which means the high-end cinema camera, this doesn't have XLR. This is a Sony ZV-1, and I'm limited to aux in. Turn off your camera, the battery stays on. You're going to kill your batteries by accident if you're not careful. The light turns off right after you turn it on. There was no way for me to know if I accidentally left the power on. And that is the major problem of this microphone. There's no way for me to know if I left the power on. However, the Rode NTG, this Rode NTG that I keep on speaking of, the power turns off with the camera. The Sennheiser does not. If you're not already, don't forget to subscribe to Not BIOS and help this channel grow so you can see more informative mic reviews that are very much in depth and more options that refer to a studio environment. The Sennheiser MKE 600. What are my thoughts? Well, I believe it is still a great option for a studio environment. The sound quality is good. I don't have to edit it in post, so that's quite perfect. Now, however, there are some imperfections. Now, when it comes to the battery power, it doesn't turn itself on or off automatically like the Rode NTG. In fact, leave a comment below if you'd actually like to see the Rode NTG versus this mic, especially as a camera mic, because the Rode NTG doesn't have 48 volts phantom power, so that part doesn't compare apples to apples. Thanks for watching, and have yourselves a most wonderful day.
This is Not BIOS, Tech and Hardware.